Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 40 episodes of Fundraising BIDness Talk. I'm Patrick Cyber, and I'm your host today. I'm the lead auctioneer and owner of G Events LLC, based in Beaverton, Oregon. And we get together every Wednesday at noon here on the West Coast and chat about what's going on in the fundraising auction business. Uh, and uh, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about current trends. I started the show 40 episodes ago, really because I was blown away at how much our industry was changing and the speed of which it was changing. And I wanted to create a forum where I could record my thoughts in real time as to what was happening, what I was seeing, and also to be able to share with folks, whether it be in the nonprofit community or other benefit auctioneers, that things that we were seeing that were working, things that we were trying that maybe didn't work as smooth as we wanted, and so we could sharpen the curve of learning, but most importantly, help our nonprofit friends raise more money so that they can continue to serve our communities and make them better places to live and work. So, as we get started today, I want to ask a couple of things. First and foremost, as you're tuning in, hey, drop me a note in the comment box and chat. Say hello. I'd love to hear who's tuning in and where you're tuning in from. And then, secondly, always feel free if you've got a question you'd like me to address during the show today. Feel free, type it in the comment box, and I will do my best to address it right while we're on the air and see where we go from there. So, with all that said, our topic today is uh, consignment trips and the value and the use and a way to, uh, quite honestly, the underwriting of your procurement. Um, and what I mean by that, underwriting of your procurement is looky here, old Dee Dee is tuning in. Dee Dee, great to see you there. Uh, Out of California, great benefit auctioneer doing wonderful work for the nonprofit community down there, has a rich history in the nonprofit world, and became an auctioneer several years ago and is doing a great job. So thanks for tuning in, Dee Dee. Great to see you. Uh, what I was talking about is I feel pretty strongly, and I've watched it with our clients over the last 18 months as COVID came on, and now we're kind of getting used to being in this pandemic. And yes, we're optimistic it'll all change and we would go back to normal. But as you've heard me say in the past, I don't. To quote a good friend, Joe Marie Wiles, the genie is not going back in the bottle, is kind of the general premise that I operate under. So, with that being said, I think that a lot of things have changed. The economy's gotten more challenging here recently. Gas prices, grocery stores have fewer products on the shelves. Ships are backed up in the harbors, trying to unload with goods from around the world. It's tough, and business is tough out there. And although many folks have not missed a paycheck, which is great because they're more generous than I've seen in the past. The same time is it's pretty tough on a lot of businesses and a lot of small businesses. And it's been my experience, at least with our client base here at G Events, that the majority of the supporters of our nonprofits are smaller companies. They're companies and organizations that have a connection to the cause or connection to the nonprofit organization, and they tend to be smaller in nature as opposed to big giant corporations. You see that at some levels, but not very often. And so, business is tough, right? And I think whether it be the restaurants that provide gift cards or special dining experiences, or it's the local shops providing their goods and services, it's getting tougher out there to procure, and a lot of organizations are challenged with this because they don't know the status of some of these organizations that they have traditionally um, gotten to support their cause and provide them with options, um, auction items or sponsorships in that nature. So with that being said, and the other thing that I see is that a lot of folks have been a little resistant maybe to offer up their vacation home or their second home to auctions today, just because of the whole COVID, environment. Or do we want a lot of folks using our vacation home that our family enjoys? Not only are, in a lot of cases, the families enjoying their own vacation homes more, but are they a little sensitive to who stays there now and the cleanliness and how to sanitize and all that? So there's a lot of factors, I guess, is what I'm trying to drive home. A lot of factors um, that are impacting our events. And the area that we want to talk about primarily today is procurement. I want to define procurement because we have listeners from around the country and maybe terms are a little bit different in different places. But procurement is the solicitation of items that will be used in your auction, whether to be sold or um, at the live auction, the online auction, whatever you're doing, maybe being used as raffle prizes. The list is on to Swedish, but we call the gathering of all those items. We call that um, we would call that procurement. And one of the things that I've seen really work well here in the last 18 months is that in many cases, companies, individuals are willing to make cash donations to an event as opposed to necessarily providing some of the items that they used to in the past that could be sold at auction, right? Whether it's a tire company providing a set of tires, now they're a little bit more interested in maybe just making a cash donation. Restaurants, you don't see a lot of cash donations from restaurants traditionally, at least not, I haven't seen that happen a lot, maybe in other parts of the country. But in those cases, they're willing to. We'll talk a little bit about restaurants and one of the things we've seen work well there. But it's just tighter, right? But when we get that cash, one of the ways that I like to see our organizations work is to leverage those cash donations into more cash, okay, into bigger dollars. And one of the way that we do that is we call it underwriting our our procurement. And what I mean by that is we'll actually go out and purchase something that, because we're a nonprofit or because we have a relationship, somebody will give us a discount, um, and then we sell it for face value or higher, and we take those dollars and we've actually made money. So let me give you an example. Something that we've seen a lot of success with recently is organizations going to restaurants that have maybe supported them in the past with maybe a donation of a gift card for $50 or $100, maybe more, depending on the organization and the restaurant. But I've encouraged some of our clients, to the nonprofits, to go to those organizations and offer to buy a $50 gift card and to support that local business. And um, what we've found is that the restaurants and the restaurant owners are blown away that the nonprofit says, "Hey, you've been supporting us for many years with your gifts, and we want to support you. And we've raised some money through donations, and we want to, purchase this gift card. We're going to turn around and sell it on our auction, and that would be great, you know." And we just feel good about supporting you as a local business, someone who supported us. And what we find is a lot of times those restaurants will say, "Well, you know what? How about we double the value of that gift card? If you're willing to, spend $50 to buy a $50 gift card, I'm going to give you two $50 gift cards, or I'm going to give you a $100 gift card. What's best for you?" Right? And so all of a sudden we took that donation of $50 and we turned it into a $100 gift card. And what we're seeing is that gift cards are going for a minimum of face value, right? In many cases, they actually go over face value, not a whole lot, but they do go over some. and depends on how popular of a facility or restaurant it is. But that's a perfect example of underwriting your procurement, where maybe the organization has said, "Hey, in the past you've gone out and we've asked all these people for donation of items, and now we're going to ask them for some cash." Like at a school, we did a event last spring for one of our schools that was extremely successful. And in the past, each classroom had a basket, and the parents would come together and they would theme their basket. Maybe it was a camping theme, maybe it was a night out theme, maybe it was a Friday night movie theme, whatever the theme was. And then the parents would come together and they would all, somebody, if it was a camping thing, somebody would donate a tent, somebody would donate sleeping bags. And so, all the items would come together that way. Well, in this COVID environment, they were a little sensitive to bringing all those items together. So what we did was we created a donation window for each classroom on the Octria website. You've heard me do some unique things with Octria uh, because I think it's so simple to do, and maybe it can be done on some other platforms. I'm not that familiar with all the other platforms, but our friends at Octria.com, they made this easy. And so what we did was we made a donation window for each classroom, and we put a picture of the teacher on there, and the parents went to the auction website several months before the event, and they made donations. And it was a suggested donation of $10 a student, right? And there's about 300 students at the school, and so it's an elementary school, K-8 environment. We were optimistic that maybe we could raise $3,000, and then we would go out and we would try to buy gift cards, and we would try to leverage those dollars, um, shop some deals, that type of stuff. And we were blown away. We were blown away. We actually raised just under or just over, I believe, $10,000 that we were able to go out and procure items with. And so that put us in a whole different realm. We went from, somebody sitting on their computer to try to get the latest video gaming console. I think at the time it was an Xbox or a PS5 or something like that. And we had one parent who took some of those dollars and, scoured the internet and all the retailers to get one at cost, right? Which was about $500. Well, we ended up selling it in the auction for $900. So that's a perfect example. We underwrote the procurement. The other thing, when you start to raise those kind of dollars, is you start to think about what are maybe some of those consignment trips that we could go after. And as many of our listeners will know, there are quite a few really, really good consignment companies out there that service and cater to the nonprofit fundraising world and industry. And there's some things about that are, I think in this environment, I've always thought they were appealing, but I think they're ridiculously appealing now, right? And one of the things that we've always thought of as being convenient was, first and foremost, it was a hands-free pass-off, right? So, I think as auction organizers, many of you in the audience have, sold that vacation home for somebody, and one of your donors donated a vacation home, and then you sold it to another donor, and then you were still in the middle of it 6, 8, 10, a year later, trying to facilitate that date availability time, mutually agreeable time, to get those two together, right? It's the ever lingering execution of an auction item. Well, don't have to deal with that with consignment. I mean, literally, in a lot of the groups that we work with, we send an email to the consignment company. Here's the people who bought the trip. Here's the trip they bought. And the consignment company invoices the nonprofit, and that's the last time the nonprofit deals with it. The company provides concierge service and turns around and sends a welcome email and tells the folks all the details of what they purchased and gives them an 800 number or an email that they can start to book or when they get ready to book, all those things. So, those were all things that were cool prior to, right? Prior to this environment. Today, there's even better idea, even more things. And probably the biggest one is the extended expiration dates. Most of the consignment companies have gone to at least a minimum of 2 years for a package to expire. And since they involve traveling in most cases, we, we've been sensitive to when you can travel. And so uh, I think we all feel fairly confident that in a couple of years, we should be, within the next couple of years, we should be able to travel more freely as we have in the past, right? So, when we evaluate trips for clients, we're always looking at what's that expiration date. I've seen it as long as unlimited, right in the peak of COVID, and I've seen it as much as 3 years now. I know with one of our vendors that we use pretty regularly, and most of them are around 2 years, which is extremely convenient, right? And you combine that with the hands-free pass off and the concierge service, and that's awesome. The other thing that's really important to recognize with consignment, and I think if you're working with a benefit auction specialist, auctioneer, member of the National Association, or someone who specializes in benefit auctions, they understand this concept. And that is that we can do multiples without permission from the donor. So that hidden double, we get the bidding to a certain point, and we feel comfortable that we it's more financially beneficial to the nonprofit for us to sell multiples of a trip versus just keep raising the price and sell only one of them, right? And we've all been to that event where we run the price up on two people for a week-long stay somewhere, and gosh, it would be great to get twice the money, right? But it's a private donor who's using their timeshare points, or they're only going to give 1 week to stay, and it's like, gosh, that's too bad, because feel like we leave money on the table. Not the case when we're using consignment. We can, in most cases, always multiply without permission. So now I want to tie this back to why this is a wonderful opportunity to use underwriting. Okay. And I like to use the term underwriting because I think it's incredibly powerful. Basically, we're looking for a sponsor who will more than cover the cost of the reserve on a consignment trip. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons we like that concept. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say that we have, one of the most popular trips we've sold the most of is a vacation to Mexico. It's Vendanta. It's a wonderful 7-night stay, oceanfront property. You get your choice of 4 different destinations. You've got 2 years to use it. It's a rock solid program. The value of that package is $4,550. Okay. If you were to somehow go out and purchase that on your own, straight off the open market, it'd be about $4,550. The reality is that the nonprofit can buy it for, let's say, $1,000. So if we turn around and we talk to one of our key sponsors and we give them the opportunity to underwrite that package, let's say for $1,500. Okay. Let's walk through what that looks like. If we have a sponsor, maybe it's a real estate firm, maybe it's a law firm, maybe it's any type of personal services business, I think are prime targets for this type of support of a nonprofit organization. Then what they do is the nonprofit will sell them the underwriting of this. I always encourage the nonprofits to add a little bit above the cost of the reserve of the package, the actual cost of the package, because of the benefits that the donor or the sponsor receives from being the quote donor of that package or underwriter of that package. So it feels good to me to see if a package costs the nonprofit $1,000, $1,500 would be the price to the sponsor, because when we showcase that package in the auction catalog and on the online auction, software and through social media posts and everything else, it it's going to appear to the audience that that company or organization provided a $4,500 gift to the nonprofit that is hosting the fundraising event. And so I think right there, that's incredibly valuable and powerful. And it's easy to execute for the corporation, the sponsor, the company who donated it or underwrote it. Um, and, uh, uh, and the impact on the nonprofit can be exponential, right? Because of the opportunity to multiply. So when we do the event and we turn around and we're selling that package and we decide that, hey, we've hit a sweet spot, which I always try to identify what that sweet spot is prior to the event, prior to the live event that we're going to close it at, whether it be online or streaming or in person or both in a hybrid. I like to know where that number is. What's my baseline number that I'm going to multiply this at? And what the strategy is. Are we trying to just sell two to the two highest priced folks, or are we trying to sell multiples of it? If we're trying to sell a lot of multiples, I've sold as many as 15 of a package in one event. Incredibly successful for the organization. Related, I want to say about $27,000 net proceeds to them, which was from one auction item. Pretty powerful, right? So what we want to do is have that baseline figured out, because when we and play it up, work with your auctioneer and have them play that up, that hey, we might have the opportunity to find another one of these trips, but we got to ask our sponsor XYZ company if they're willing to provide a second one. Now the reality is we're not going to ask them to pay the underwriting on the second one. We're going to use the proceeds, because our proceeds are significantly higher. Our sale price is well above what our costs are in the package, or we wouldn't be doubling it. And we'll take those as the winnings or the earnings for that package. So and then add some other benefits to that company that underwrites that consignment package or any of those other packages, because you can, the notoriety that they're going to get from the auctioneer and describing the package and thanking the person over and over, the opportunity when they multiply it for them to bring attention to that sponsor again. You're going to promote that package in advance. I mean, today, we know that you can have a lot of success promoting your auction packages online through your social media. Don't just promote your event, right? You've heard me say it before. Don't promote just your event. Promote the items that are available for sale. We are no longer restricting our buyers to only those people who would come and buy a ticket and attend our event in the school gym or in the performing arts center or wherever our special venue, hotel, ballroom. Where it used to be the logic was you had to buy a ticket to have the opportunity to buy these items and support the cause. That doesn't make any sense anymore, right? Today, it's like, hey, if you want to support our cause by buying this trip, then we'll sell it to you. I mean, it's as straightforward as that, right? So you're going to get more people's attention if you're promoting the items that are for sale, as opposed to just promoting your charity and your nonprofit. Because as I say a lot, everybody wants to support charity until you tell me which one. And we all have our own beliefs and we all have our own favorites. And, yes, charity is neutral enough. Yes, I like to support charity. Then you tell me which group and I decide, well, is that a cause that I feel passionate about, or is there another cause I feel more passionate about, right? But everybody can wrap their brain around putting their toes in the sand and having a margarita in their hand, with a sunny trip to Mexico, right? So that's the way that works, and I think it's incredibly powerful. And with the consignment opportunities out there today, there's a lot of good organizations out there, and drop me a note and I'll send you a list of the ones that I believe in and have confidence in, that you should reach out and procure and shop it a little bit, right? In some cases, folks are adding airfare to their consignment packages because airfare, seems cheap at times, and then other times it seems high. So that's one of those variables that you can reduce for your donor when they buy your trip, is it, increases that concierge level of service, that everything's taken care of for them, right? This is I don't have to worry about shopping for airline tickets. Um, I know that air is covered, and and I've got a wonderful place to go. So, um, yeah, I would strongly encourage you to think about, as you move forward in planning your next fundraising auction, fundraising event for your nonprofit, to think about the underwriting of some of your procurement. You'll find that you're taking those donations, and you're turning them into even more dollars, right? So if we just, for example, if we stay with that Mexico trip, organization gave us $1,500. We spent 1,000 of it to underwrite the first trip, and then we multiplied it. Let's say we sell 5 of them, okay, and we sell 5 of them for $2,000. That's $10,000. Yeah, 5 times 2 is $10,000. We've got 5,000 in cost. Um, so we've made 5,000. We got 1,500 from the sponsor, that we take off of that. So we really made $6,500 on one package. And I find in this time that we're not seeing as many live auction packages, which is great. I think fewer, uh, bigger ticketed items is fantastic, and it's working well right now because we can multiply them, their consignment, whatever they are. Um, maximize those packages that are in your live auction, and this is a great way to do it. Um, and so, cool opportunity. Hey, reach out. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I see one of my old buddies, um, tuning in from Texas today, Robbie Skinner. Robbie, thanks, buddy, for tuning in and saying hello. Always great to see my old pals back there. Robbie and I played Little League baseball together, many, many, many years ago. And I also want to let you know, if you have any questions, feel free, type them in the comments. Let me know. Be happy to answer them right here while we're on the air, and visit with you. As we're waiting for a couple of questions, if they're going to come in today, I want to share with you some of our upcoming events. We've got a virtual event we're doing tomorrow night. Actually, the bidding has been hot and heavy so far. We kicked off bidding with an online kickoff show like we normally do. Uh, been very successful. We started that last Thursday, and in the first, I don't know, 24 hours, we had well exceeded our expectations of the bidding. But this is for the Sherwood High School Booster Club auction. This is the athletic department booster club. They support buying uniforms and equipment for all the athletic teams, including the dance team. They also provide a couple of scholarships every year for a few of the student athletes to get their start in college. Wonderful organization. This will be their second year going virtual, and so far it's been incredible. Now we'll be at the AV department to do that event. Our favorite studio, our friends over there at the AV department, John and Todd and Sean and Ryan and the whole group, Andy and everybody. So we'll be over at the AV department tomorrow night. But you can click in and join us right there at charityauction.bid, and that's 2021 Sherwood Booster Club auction. And check it out, and you'll have a lot of fun. They've got a nice event, a little more casual. I don't have to put the bow tie on, so it's a lot of fun. I always enjoy putting on the bow tie, but this one's a little more casual, a little more sports oriented, and so we're gonna have a good time with that. And then next week we're doing a second year virtual event for our friends at the McKindu Children's Program. Really a fabulous, fabulous, one of my favorite nonprofits we work with every year. Um, the folks at the McKindu Children's Program, Winnie and Diana, Their whole team does a phenomenal job of taking care of really challenged family situations, orphans, and folks in Makindu, Kenya. And they've done phenomenal work for these young people and helping, not only with their health and their just day-to-day existence, but also with their education. And they've got some tremendous stories. And so I'm going to be joined by one of their board members, Tay, um, and we're looking forward to seeing Taylor. Actually, I'm going to do a kickoff show for them later today, about 4 o'clock here locally. But this is a fun event to me because they literally have a national audience. Last year, we registered bidders in 26 different states for this virtual event, and they had a tremendous success. And so we're looking forward to getting it kicked off again here later today. And there's the site there at Altria.events, Makindu 2021 auction. That event we'll be doing on StreamYard. Taylor Tay, my MC, will be up in the Seattle market. The organization's down in Eugene. I'll be in Beaverton, and we're going to do the whole show from right here in my home studio and them remotely. So it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, tune in, check it out. Always a good time. Hey, folks, want to remind you we are here every Wednesday at noon. Fundraising BIDness Talk is always live at noon each Wednesday. If you missed an episode, and there'll be 40 of them to watch, so you got plenty of time to listen to me. But they're all at fundraisingbidnesstalk.com. And as always, I try to remind you, folks, it does not matter where you start the bidding. It's all about where you finish. Thanks for tuning in today. We hope you have a tremendous, tremendous day. And thanks for joining us. Have a great day.